So first question here is, what is Python here? And we'll try to understand the basic concept here about the Python first, and then we'll also do some hands-on session on the Python. I hope the screen is visible to everyone. Just respond if you are able to see the screen.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. So the first question is, what is Python? So let me know, everybody is talking about like the Python is a programming language. Someone is saying Python is scripting language, and someone is saying Python is something, a tool. So let me clarify here what is Python here first. So Python is general purpose, interpreted, interactive, object-oriented, high-level scripting language. And there's a big confusion whether the Python is a programming language or whether it is a scripting language or it is something else. So here I'm going to clear all the concepts about like what the Python is all about. Is it a programming language? Is it a scripting language or something else? So firstly, let me do each and every term that Python is general purpose, interpreted, interactive, object-oriented, high-level scripting language. So first question comes to our mind, what is general purpose means? What general purpose here is, like we have languages like C language is there, we have a C++ language, we have Java language. Are these a general purpose language or specific purpose language? Can someone tell me like whether the C, C++, Java, they are general purpose or specific purpose? They are also general purpose, right? So what is general purpose? General purpose language are the language by which you can perform any task. Means you can do whatever the thing you want to like. You would like to communicate with database, or you like to write a program for like Google is using for the search engine, or you like to do something like data transactions, or you would like to connect to database. Anything you want to do, you can do with the help of general purpose language. So which are the language which are general purpose language, and which are the language which are specific purpose or domain specific language? So when you say the general purpose, the other language like C, C++, Java, C#, these all are language which comes under the category of general purpose only. Whereas there are some language called domain specific language like SQL, HTML, R language. Every language, these are the languages which are having the specific purpose. For example, HTML. HTML is for the web application development. SQL is for the database management. So that way, these are the languages which are the domain specific language. So I hope you understood the first term, what is general purpose means. The second thing is that Python is an interpreted language. Now, when you say the language is interpreted, what does the interpreter mean now? Now here, when you say language is interpreted means you can execute the code line by line. So whereas there are other languages which are like a C, C++, they are language which are compiler-based language. So there are two things, like one is interpreted and one is compiler-based language. So what interpreter means here, now in the Python case, you can just execute the line by just typing once, right? The interpreter is just executing it line by line. Here you don't require to worry about the compilation part. That is all taken care by the interpreter itself. So the third term in the third point in the Python, that is an interactive language. So why is it interactive language? Because you can just communicate with the interpreter. For example, if you want to say hello world in the Python, you can simply say on the terminal, there's a Python shell. You can just say print, welcome to Python, hello world, and you can get immediate response. This shows that the Python is interactive language. Next thing is Python is object-oriented scripting language. So this is the most important part of this language now. When you say object-oriented, what does the object-oriented scripting language mean now? So here the point comes that in the Python case, everything what you have is object. So everything means like we have a data, like you have a, let's say the integer, float, string, whatever the data types are there, or whatever data structure you are having, or what are the functions you are having, whatever you see in the Python case, they all are objects. I will be demonstrating you what is object-oriented scripting language means, and I will tell you like what object means and what class means here. So when you say object-oriented scripting language, there's a confusion like what about Java now? Is that an object-oriented language or not? Yes, Java is an object-oriented programming language. There, what we do is we write a class and we create an object. But in the Python case, already the classes are defined. So that's why this is a language where it is a more high level, where the objects are already defined, the classes are already defined, to simply use it. So let us see the basic difference between the class and object. Some of you guys will have to ask the question like, what exactly the class means and what is object means here now. So here, when you say class is something which is, we can say, a blueprint. Like you have a car design. Car design, what you see is a class now. Whereas what you see, the real thing is an object. So you have an Alto car, that is the object. You have the, let's say, Honda car, that's the object. Whereas what you see, the class is something just the blueprint. It's like a design. So what you decide, okay, you want to design like the part of the car here, so that all decision is taken in the class itself. What should be the method? What should be the, what are things should be the part of the class? So that is all design part. Design part comes under the class. Whereas the real thing, what you see is object. So there are several examples of the class and object here. The next term in the language, in the definition, what is high level? So high level, because see, there are low level language and there are high level languages. When you say low level language, previously actually when we started, we were actually writing the low level language. So in the low level language, what happened? In communicating directly with the machine, how to allocate the memory, how to delocate the memory, you need to think about more about the hardware part here. So it is like more machine level language. Whereas when you talk about high language, we are not worried about the machine level part. It is all taken care. So when you say Python, PHP, Java, they're all high level languages. And Python considered as a more high level language because Python is written using the C language again. So here you do not require to worry about machine, how do you allocate the memory? You don't require to worry about even the defining the data types here. So there are a lot of things which we can do high level. It's like an English language, you can say. It's like more developer friendly language here. Like there is a one question comes like in the definition, like whenever I discuss about what the Python is, and the questions asked, sir, we know the Java. Can you tell me the difference between the Java and the Python? And I just would like to tell you, like, Java is an object-oriented programming language. And I say Python is an object-oriented scripting language. So what is the difference between these two now? Now, let me tell you first, what is the difference between the scripting language and the programming language. So when you see the scripting language like a shell scripting where you just write a one line and you get the operation done. But every line in the shell script, if you look at, that's the command itself. So that command is a program internally. So what you see in the shell scripting, like you want to, like, I'll give the example. Let's take a scenario here. You want to copy the file from source destination part. Now the one to you, write a program using the C language for copying file from source part to destination part. What you will do in that case? You require to write a file handling program, almost maybe you can say 10 lines of code, right? So that is a complete program there. Whereas in the case of shell script, what you do, you simply say CP source file and destination file. Just one line is doing that complete file handling work. So file copying the work, right? So that is what the benefit of your scripting language here. So scripting language makes your thing easy. You just and quickly get the result. That's why automations is also the shell scripting. Shell scripting is like you do not have object-oriented feature available. It is like specific to the Unix environment. So these are like certain limitations, and that's why we cannot go for the shell scripting language for the big programming or big application or business application. But when you require to do like a little bit of a small automation part, like network automation, all these things, still we are preferring to go for the shell scripting here. Now, but then now what we have is after the shell scripting, what we wanted to have the language, which is a language, which is a scripting language, and also should be, available for all the platforms. Now we have the language, like other language like Perl is also a language which is open source language available on all the platforms. And above the Perl, I can say now the Python, which is object-oriented scripting language here. Why? Because Python is something which is a scripting language, as well as it has a feature of object-oriented feature where you can write your own classes also, as well as you can use the existing classes also. So you have the both the feature available. Now, why there is a confusion by that Python is a programming language or scripting language? Let me lay there. This is a language which is having both the feature available. It is a programming language as well as scripting. It has both the feature available together. That's why the Python is having a little bit confusion whether it's a programming or scripting. Let me tell you, it is an object-oriented scripting language now. So one more difference, whenever you go for the high-level language, you are reducing the lines of code. It is more easy to learn, very easy. Just see the syntax now in the Python case. Python, I just simply say print hello world, and then you get the result. Whereas in the case of Java, at least you need to write 6 to 7 lines of code, and you need to think about the syntax also, like semicolon, you need to write a system.out.println, public static void. So many lines of code, you write simple for the hello world only. So this is another difference what you can see between the Java and the Python language here now. Now, let's do the practical part also, because as I said, this is not just the theory session here, this is a workshop. The first step for us to install the Python. So how to install the Python? So here this is a link where we are showing like python.org/download. This will allow you to reach to this path and allows you to download the latest version of Python. Downloading and installing the Python. And it's a very easy way to do it. The other way is you can go for one of the powerful tools which is available given by the Anaconda. This is specifically, and I will recommend it here, those guys who are for data scientists here, those who like to go for data science or machine learning, they should go for the Anaconda. Now, this Anaconda tool will allow you to, do the Python. You can execute the Python as well as the data science also. Like you have the library available. Like you can have the almost 800 plus packages of data science loaded with this Anaconda. So this Anaconda is what? Anaconda is a distributor. He's distributing the Python along with the Python. Whatever the libraries are available, whatever the packages are available is loaded in the Anaconda. So this is one of the recommended tool which I will recommend to everyone. So I mostly use Anaconda. Previously, I was just using the basic Python. Then after that, I started using the Eclipse and then even the other like PyCharm. But now I prefer to use Anaconda. So how to install this? So this is the one link by which you can start downloading and install, because it is going to take time. I know like most of you guys would like to download and install. So the link which I'm showing here, I'm just clicking on the link and it will come here. Just check like the anaconda.com. This is a tool which I'll be using in my session. And here you get, it is just scroll down, the option of the download will be there. Now it all depends on operating system. Now Anaconda distributor is available for Windows, for Mac, for Linux, and based on the operating system, whether it is a 64-bit or whether it is a 32-bit, you need to download it. Recommended, the latest one is a 64-bit. Now if you have the Windows operating system, go for this or if you are having something like Linux and all, this is the version available. So I'm using the Mac OS right now, and I have already installed the Anaconda. So but then here, from here you need to download. So just click here, it will ask you to download. Download started. And here for me, the Anaconda download started for the Python 3.8, which is the latest version in the case of Anaconda. So this is the process which we do. Those guys who definitely would like to do the hands-on, they can go for this Anaconda download. Or those who like to start, they are very new to the Python. The first type is also very, like python.org is something where you can quickly download and start it. So this python.org site giving you a quick start and the latest version of Python, but it will not be like, you will not able to directly go for data science there. There for data science, you will record install the library, like you will record install NumPy or pandas and all those libraries. But this is something, a basic Python available here if you want to start with the core Python. Here you just need to click and you can again like download for Windows or Unix or Mac. It depends on your requirement. So for me, it is a Mac OS, so I can click on the Mac OS here now. And I get the option here for downloading the whichever the version of Mac is required. Again, there are two series, but I recommend the latest series, that's 3.8. I'll tell you like what the series are. The series is 2.7 is the one series which is available in the Python 2 release, and there's another series called latest Python 3. So preferable and the most latest one is the Python 3 series. I will give the difference also. What is the difference between the Python 3 and Python 2? That also I'll tell you. So what latest we are using is a Python 3.x series only. Now even the Python community is not supporting for the older version or the old series like Python 2.7 now. But what are the legacy applications are developed for that? The library is still available. Whatever you can say the support which is there, which is all for the old series, but now they are not updating more. So this is what you can see, the 2.78 version is available. So my recommendation is go for this, Python 3.8, whichever the latest version. Or you can go for this one, which is given for now for Mac, this is the option available now. I hope you guys got it, like how to download, and obviously you need to go for the step for the installation here. And that way it is, if you go just wizard, you're able to install the Python. So I hope you understood what the Python is, and I just given you idea like how to download. So meanwhile, while you download, and I'll be taking about like why Python. So let us have a little bit more about what Python is all about. And then maybe another 10-15 minutes, once all of you guys download and install, in that period, I'll be taking certain theory part. And if you have any problem in the installation, let me know in the message. So any question right now till now, because before I proceed further, any question? Okay, someone is saying, shall I use Jupyter? Yes, it is Anaconda is having the Jupyter. Yeah, we'll be using Jupyter only. So if any question, let me know. I can help you out. I hope you guys having the machine. So those having the machine, they can download and install the Python. Yeah, you can use a PyCharm in case you are comfortable with the PyCharm. Because we are not taking the right now data science session, so it's okay to go for PyCharm also. So it's all independent. Like it is not mandatory to have a specific ID. You can go for any ID. Fine. So meanwhile, while you are downloading and installing, let me take another point. Yes, I can see this question like, can we use Jupyter? Yes, you can. So let me do any, as of now, you can use any ID. If you already know about certain ID, definitely you go for it. I'll be starting the Anaconda also to tell you like why I'm actually asking you to download, and I already have the Anaconda installed now. And I'll be using this Jupyter notebook. Once you install, you get the option of Anaconda Navigator. Here you need to click on the Jupyter notebook. And I'm just starting this now. So it's a kind of web server. We need to run it. Then only it will start on the browser, like a web browser. You can see in the backend, the server is running. So here there's a server running on the particular port that is 4 times 8. And now you can see it has redirected here as I have already started this Jupyter several times, so now because I'm trying to open it multiple times, it is asking me the password, which I already set it for the security reason. Now you can see the Jupyter started, Jupyter notebook. And here I will have all the notebooks available. Okay, let me see, like, I hope like my screen is visible. Okay, am I sharing the screen or not? Let me check whether I have shared the screen or not. Okay, okay. I have to share the screen. Just a second. I was just thinking like I already shared, but it was not shared. So let me tell you, like, I have started the, by just clicking here, I just started the, now it is visible. I hope like the screen is visible now. Okay, great. So here I have started the Jupyter and I just launched it now. You can see there is a, in the Unix-based OS, you can see in the backend whatever is happening. You can see it now here. And it has started the browser. So is a browser. After once I launch the Jupyter, I just click on launch here, and here there's a browser now. So here I have options to start the version of Python 3. So I'm just starting the Python 3 version here. I hope most of you guys must be downloading and installing this. So here there's a browser you can see, and the Jupyter screen started. I can simply type print and say welcome. Welcome to Python. How simple it is, you can see now. I just say print in the bracket, welcome to Python, or hello, or whatever you want to say. You can run by Shift Enter key, or you can see click on here. Anyway, it is fine. And the output has come now. Welcome to Python. So how easy is Python? You can see by just simple, like you just say print and welcome to Python. You can also type some mathematical calculation here and get the result. Now I have just defined what is Python. Let me tell you, like, because I wanted to tell you like what is the definition I defined, like Python is object-oriented, interpreted, interactive scripting language. So you can see the language is interactive. It is interpreted also. The interpreter is used here for execution of every line. Now, how it is object-oriented? So let me show you like something here. Why this language is object-oriented? If I just say now here in this case, hello, with your string, now this hello itself is the object, and I can just see the properties of the hello here. So what is this hello? Is a string. I will just say data equal to, let's say anything, let's say Python as a string. And now what data is, if you ask the what type it is, what the type it is going to be a string. Now I did not define what the Python is here. I did not define that Python is a string type. I did not define data also, but interpreter has already understood that this is of the type string now. So in the Python case, there's a dynamic typing. You don't require to define the data types here. You simply give the value, and based on that, interpreter interpret it. So if I say data equal to something else, and just find out what type it is, interpreter is responding that it is an integer now. So just change the value. So during the runtime, so what is dynamic typing here? Interpreter is and it is also allocating memory dynamically now. Here I have just, you can see now, given the value, based on the value, the data is become the type of integer now. But what int here now? It is a class. What the str is, it is also class now. How do you know about this? So let me show you some detail about it. If I just say help and str or int, I'll come to know more about it. So here we can see the help of str. And what is in the help? The class str. It is a defined class. I just now say like, what is object? Object is nothing but the instance of a class. Now here data is what? Object. So data is an instance of class. What type it is? Here it is integer, here it is a S or str, it is a string. And this class includes the method and data. It is encapsulating method and data. So you can see the help also. It is already available in the Python. So I hope guys, you are getting like what the Python is. And now I have just given you the demo. Like Python is an interpreter. You can see that every line is executed, like we are executing the line by line here. It is a general purpose. You can do anything in the Python. It is a high level. You can simply write an English, like a statement where whatever you're writing, they're like more like English. So here we're not writing like any kind of allocation, deallocation, or we're not writing any main program here. Simply we are saying the whatever you want to type, that every line is a command for here, and then we are executing here. So interpreter is taking care of everything now. So I hope you understood like what the Python is all about. And did you get the idea, like the practical thing here? Like I just shown you, like I just did a print, welcome to Python, and you can see the output has come immediately. So that way it's so easy to understand. So before I discuss more about the Python, I'd like to show some demo here, how powerful is the Python here. So let me show certain demo here. The Python is so easy to learn that anybody, like even the kids who like to just learn the math, let's say kids who like to do mathematics, they can simply write mathematics like additions and do the shift enter and get the result. You want to do multiplication, you can simply do that. You can also have the subtraction part and the result is done. So those who are just like learning the arithmetic operations are very easy. So you don't even want to write a big program for doing the arithmetic operation. So you just need to understand the operator, plus, star, minus, all other operators. And you can also do the powerful feature like 2 to the power, thousands, 10,000s, and you get the result. You can have the long integer. Python is having integers which are unbounded. There's no limit. Like other language like C, C++, we know like the integers is having certain limit. You have like 32 bit, 64 bit, but Python is not having that. Because here there are objects. As a result, there is a dynamic memory allocation for all the data types here. So just now I shown demo like 2 to the power 10,000, and you can see how quickly the response has come now. So like this, any kind of arithmetic operation you can perform quickly without writing much program here. Now here I have shown data types. So let me tell you a little bit about data types here. In the Python, you just tell the what value you are giving. Let's say I just given 34 plot, or just say .5. You know what type it is. So those guys already know in other languages, they know like, okay, this is a float type. But those who are new to the data types, they can simply ask the Python and just say, hey, what data type is now? You just say, what is the type it is, and just a type of data, and the response will be there. And it's showing me the float type. So you just change the value, and you get the result. Like now, one more is like let's say true. It's a case sensitive language. So now T need to be a capital, and I just say type of data, and you get the result. What it is? It is a Boolean type. Again, interesting part in the Python that it understands what you're typing. If you just say true right now, it understood that it's a Boolean type. But if you write a lowercase here, this t is let's say lowercase. Python doesn't know what this lowercase true means. So it is saying the name true is not defined. So there are keywords, and we need to know all those keywords, which our Python interpreter understands. So here this capital true T is understood by the Python, but not the lowercase t here. So it's a very much case sensitive language. Now, one more interesting part here, when you try to do something operation like on the true plus, let's say you try true plus true, what do you expect the output will be? Something like error or something, I don't know what will be the output, okay? And what will be the now output here? True plus true, whether it will be true or false, what will be the output here? The interesting part here, the output is something which you may not imagine here. There is something else. Let us see that. Oh, it is showing 3. So why it is 3 now? So let me tell you, interpreter is interpreting true as a 1 and false as a 0 automatically. So you don't require the interpreter, okay, whenever you're doing certain operation, interpreter automatically understand that true is considered as a 1 and false is considered as a 0 by default. So this is the way the interpreter works. I hope you understood like the basic here, like what I just shown, data types here, the Boolean types, and we have seen the integer type, float type, and there's one more type I'd like to show you before we go ahead with the theory, and that is complex type. So 5 plus, let's say 10j. What is j here? Let us see that. So if you ask Python what data here, what is the type and what is the class type here? So it is saying complex type. Now let me do here, the complex data type is again a mathematical expression where it includes the real value plus imaginary value. In other language we have I, here it is j. So j represent, it is the imaginary value here in this case. So it includes the two part, real part. So it is like data dot real, and we have a data dot imaginary part. So as I say, the Python is having everything is like an object. You can see data is also object type now, and this is object of the type complex, and it has a attribute called data attribute, that is real attribute, and it is another attribute called image. It is also the data attribute. Now we also have a method. When you say class includes two things. One, the data, the another one is a method. So how do you call the method? You say simply data dot conjugate, which will just inverse it. You can simply tab also and just do the conjugate of the value, which was 5 plus 10j. The conjugate is 5 minus 10j. So that way you can understand like what data is. Data is an object of the type complex, and it has attribute like real value is like the real plus imaginary. These are the data attribute, and we have a conjugate, which is a method. So that way the class is. Now here, I did not define data. I did not define the complex class. I have not written any complex class. Here in the Boolean case also, I did not write any Boolean class, but interpreter Python interpreter is already having this library available. So these are all things are well defined. So let me tell you, like, as this language is written by some language called C language, the person who is written is a Guido Vandersom, has written this complete Python from the scratch using the C language. So there's a lot of work already done by the programming language C itself. And as a result, internally, everything is managed, like allocation, deallocation, memory, everything is done internally. So you don't require to worry about it, allocation and deallocation of memory here. So that's the wonderful thing about the Python here. So let me again go ahead with the next part here. I hope till now you understood like what the Python is. So any question regarding what the Python is, I hope like I started with the definition that Python, let me again, because this is very important for that, Python is general purpose, interpreted, interactive, object-oriented, high-level scripting language. Even also, it is also called as a programming language because you can use for the programming purpose also. But why I'm saying scripting language? Why I'm saying object-oriented script language, the main reason is we can execute just in a one line. You can simply have an execution line by line here. You do not require to write much program here, much like more lines of code here. Like in C++, the language, even simple hello world, even in the Java, you write at least 5 to 6 lines of code. That is not the case in the case of Python. So you can see how easy is a Python to learn here. So question is, why Python is so popular? What is the reason behind why Python is so popular? Any reason for the Python popularity? So let me leave, there are many reasons why Python is becoming so popular. First thing is, like, as a developer, as a programmer, you love to write a less and do more. This is a language which is a more productive language. And all the industry, see, it is for business. This is not a language where you talk to the machine directly. This is a language where you are thinking about business. What business you want to do? Now you want to have productivity, which is the business. So now when you say software development is our business, when you say Python, we talk about software development business here, or any kind of a data analysis business, whatever you're doing. If we can achieve any task in a short duration, that's what the language, if any language is aligned to that, that is the productive language according to me. So here now, the Python is a more productive language. That's one of the major reasons why one should go for the Python as compared to C, C++. So if you are going for high-level application development, definitely go for the Python. But if you are going for the machine like embedded programming, you still can go for the C, C++ languages. So it all depends on what type of application you are writing. But these days, what we do more is a business application. So the Python is the right language, is the best language to go for it. It has a dynamic typing. So just now I shown you the demo. Like, I did not define data types. See why I've shown you the demo about the Python. That I just said data equal to something like in a single quote, ABC, and interpreter has said that this is a string type. When I say data equal to let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Python interpreter is interpreting it as an integer. So here I did not define data types. I did not say it is an integer float, but interpreter is understanding it. That's what the dynamic typing is. The third thing is, like, now you don't require to worry about writing too much of code for each and everything. The language is innovative language. What does innovative language mean? See, innovative means you do not require to do from the scratch and everything. So much of things are already available. So much of library is already available. Python is having a rich set of library and the framework available. And that's a powerful feature. Let me tell you, Python is having the biggest community available in the world. Biggest community. And it's open source language. You're not paying a single rupee here for that. So that's one of the powerful things about Python. I can tell you, if I to discuss about Python, is having so many features to understand only that, and it's so easy to learn. So that's why I recommend everyone that let's go for the Python. Now, next thing is we have a largest community in the Python. That's also like, if you look at that, if any code you like to see, you may get a code in the GitHub. You need a support for a small project. You can look up that, just Google and go to the GitHub. You will get the even small sub project also available. So because the community, like from the various companies like IBM, Cisco, HP, many more companies, they all are the part of the community. They are already sharing a lot. They're sharing their code and it is available for your for usage. So as it is open source and the community is also there to help you out, if you have the willingness in the Python to do something, go for it. That's what the benefit or the why you should go for the Python. So I can tell you, Python is having the n number of benefits and why you should go for Python. So one of the reasons I told you Python is a productive language. The second one and most important reason why I recommend that why you should learn the Python. This is the language to learn for everyone. It's the easiest language to learn. Now, why I'm saying easiest language to learn? You just now saw the demo. I just say print hello. How easy it is, right? I just say 5 plus 10 and whatever the number, the result has come immediately, right? That's what easy. I'm not showing anything theoretical. I have just shown you demo, and I hope you must understand like how easy it is to start with the Python. So you don't have any kind of a programming language, or you don't know anything about machine, but you can start. It's a practical language. You can simply start it. Just type it and just learn it. Yeah, gradually you need to understand what is happening internally. So to understand, you need to, okay, this is the interpreter. So you need to understand what is the interpreter, what is compiler, what is, all these things definitely you need to know. But to learn the programming language, to start in the practical, yes, this is a language to start then. Here, you need to write a less lines of code. It's a language where it's a natural language, like English language you're using it, and it has a simple syntax. The code is very much readable. So these are all powerful features like what you can see in the Python. So obviously, like everybody would like to go for such language, which is very easy to start. Then the language is very much mature and supportive. It has the biggest community. It is giving you the so much of document, so much of video tutorial available, the guidelines, plenty of documentation. If you visit the site, python.org, you get documentation, tutorial, everything available online only. So you have so many videos available. So you have a support available in terms of document and the video tutorial, everything is available. Then I already say the thing is like the library, what type of library it is having. So some of the library, let me tell you, like here, which you like to do, like say if you are in the data science, if you want to go for the visualization of data, you have a matplotlib. So most of the guys who are from the business, they would like to do something like analysis of data. They would like to see graphically how the result looks like. You can go for the library called matplotlib. You also have a scientific library. Those who like to go for the science and mathematical programming, so they can go for the scientific library also. Those who like to go for web scraping, they can go for a library like Beautiful Soap Library. Those who want to go for the mathematical or array operation, you can go for NumPy library. So you have a library available for everything. If you want to go for web application, your Django library and so many libraries like that. You have the one more reason why we should learn the Python is the language is very flexible. We have varieties of applications which are available in the Python. Web application is available, your GUI programming, your game development, test automation, network automation. I've been taking the Python training, and every time, whenever I take the session, what I'm doing in that session, like sometimes I'm teaching the Python for network engineers, sometimes I'm taking the session for game development, sometimes for GUI programming, sometimes for web application development. So every time, see why? Because there is a variety available here. You have flexibility. You decide what you want to do. It's now someone would like to enjoy their passion in the game development. They just go for the Python game library. Some would like to enjoy the passion of for the web application development, and that we have the library available like Django and the Flask framework to start with. So here you have the options available. It is your choice. It's your choice. You decide what you want. You like to be a test automation engineer, you have available library available for test automation also. For network automation also. For everything, there is a library available in the Python. So language allows you to do everything. And some of the very powerful framework, I recommend Django, which I'm using. Even our complete site, GKTCS.in, GKTCS.com, both the site we have developed using the Django framework. So this framework is such a powerful framework which allows you to integrate Python as a backend, and the high level you can connect to the HTML5, CSS3, jQuery, AngularJS, Bootstrap, and many more UI-based technology. So you do not require to write the HTML using the Python here. It is already there. You just integrate, you just connect. You can connect to whichever the UI-based technology you want to connect. So this is all this using the Python. So like in a Java case, you have Spring framework. Similarly, and there is a Spring, and here Django here. Very, very powerful framework in the Python. Those who like to go for development, yes, we have available library called PySoil library. It's again for the 3D game. Those who like to start with the game development, yes, go for it. Pygame is also another library. You need to simply download and install. You can start using the library also. Those who want to go for the big data, machine learning library, they can go for big data science, like the library, which is very powerful library, PySpark, which is for big data analysis. I've been a trainer for PySpark. It's required, if you have some big data analysis, go for PySpark. If you want to go for the data science or something, numeric library, NumPy. We have machine learning library like sklearn. If you want to go for data frame or data analysis and all, you can go for pandas. If you want to go for, again, machine learning, we have a neural network library also available, TensorFlow. So for everything, we have a library available now. Even you have library available for GUI programming in the desktop GUI programming, like tkinter, WSVJ, Kiwi. These are the libraries available for GUI programming now. Then we also have library for web scraping. Very powerful library like Beautiful Soap, Scrappy, LXML, Request, Selenium, URL library. These are the library available for the web scraping application. So now those guys who like to hack the data from web technology, they can go for this kind of library where you can scrap certain data from web and then you can generate the report. You also can go for the embedded applications. We have one of the powerful tool available called a Raspberry Pi. This is like a mini computer where you can also write a program using the Python on the Raspberry Pi. So allows you to write a small application on the hardware device also. So this is something like a Raspberry Pi, which one of the small or mini computer you can say you can get from anywhere. So you must have understood now why Python. I just wanted to quickly summarize here. The Python, why we should learn is there are many reasons. One of the reason is it has a dynamic typing, it has a built-in data structure, it has a powerful library, it has a powerful framework available, and the biggest community support, and it has a rapid application development also. So this is what I like to say about why we should go for Python here. And also, this is a language where you are not worried about like buying any license here. So it's the open source and easy to learn. And one of the statistics said that how easy is a Python to learn, and it has been found that 25.7% it is said that this is the language is the most easiest language compared to other language now. Whereas the other language which is easy is a JavaScript and then the Go language. So this is what the statistics which I have seen, and I just wanted to show this now. Okay, please also subscribe our YouTube channel. So we will be coming with various videos which will be on the basic Python itself. Now here I'm going to start with let me check with you guys like some question, and then again we'll come back to the hands-on here. But after every a few slides, we'd like to have some hands-on also. So let me know some of your questions now before we proceed further. So let me see the questions here. Okay, I can see like someone is not able to. Okay, you are getting some voice issue. Okay, let me check from other also. Are you finding some? Okay, so let me see some question here. I can see the question is saying like, I'm a fresher, should I go for Python or Java, and why? See, it is your choice, first of all, that the Python is the language which you can start at any point of time. And it's very easy to go learn actually as compared to the Java. And if you are, but then I will not say like you should not learn Java. Java is a language which allows you to, understand the object-oriented concept. So for that, still like Java is the language to start with. But in case if you want to quickly start the application development, then Python is the best language to start. Okay, I have a question here. I don't have programming background, but want to. Yes, so if you do not have a programming background, then you can go for the Python, because the language like where you can go for data science library, like you can scrap the, you can simply go for the library like a pandas library, or you can go for the, you can say, yeah, Panda is one of the library where you can read the Excel file, you can read the CSV file, and also you have matplotlib library to visualize the data, and you can do the data analytics, or like, if you want to see like how the things are working, so data analytics also can be done. Okay, so the question is like, what is the difference of Jupyter Notebook and PyCharm? Let me tell you, Jupyter Notebook is another IDE where allows to write, like right now what I'm using is Jupyter Notebook only. PyCharm is a separate IDE itself. See, Jupyter Notebook is along with Anaconda, you're getting it. And it allows you to create one complete notebook and save it completely, all the code. Whatever the code you're writing, automatically save, and you can use it in a, it's very interactive as compared to the PyCharm also. PyCharm, you write a program, you have to execute it, and that's a separate IDE. That's the IDE for the programmer. Mostly I recommend the PyCharm for the programmer, whereas the Jupyter notebook is good for the data science or who like to have some quick interaction with the Python and write some programming. Specifically for non-programmer, I will say go for the Jupyter notebook. But for programmers, those who like to write multiple lines of code, they may go for the PyCharm. And again, one more thing about PyCharm is also commercial. Let me know it has there are two editions. One is community edition and one is commercial edition. So here it goes more on the commercial edition is available. Yeah. Why we need to use only J in the complex? So let me tell you here, in the Python case, Python interpret understand J means here it is a complex number. By default, it's defined. Whereas when you say I in other language, it is a complex number there. So J is what is the imaginary value in this case. So it's like minus value here. So the imaginary value is considered as a J in this case. In other language, it is a I. I hope Ayush, you must have understood why J is here. So it's all interpreter language. Okay, there is a question like why, whether we like to, the Linux is required to learn in this. See, it is not mandatory, but if you have a knowledge about Linux, definitely helps. It is not mandatory because Python is independent of any operating system. I can use any OS, whichever I want to like. Right now I'm using Mac, but previously I was using the Windows operating system, and sometimes I use Ubuntu. Nothing mandatory actually. So Linux is not mandatory. Okay, pandas is obviously I could explain, but then pandas itself is a very big topic. Like it is for data science library because if you want to import the pandas, you can use it for specifically whenever you want to read the Excel file, you want to do the data analysis. It is like cleaning the data. So a lot of things you can do using the Panda itself. So Panda is a library for specifically for data science, where you can have like data cleaning data. You can like the data. We can, let's say you have some huge amount of data in this case, like in the Excel format or some other format, SQL format. Pandas allows you to read all the types of data, whether it is a CSV format or Excel format or some other format. All the types of data can be read by the Pandas, and also you can convert it data frame. So it is actually having the two-dimensional data. So although this particular topic I have not started with for the data science, maybe if I have the workshop on data science, that time I can show the more practical about the Pandas. So for that, we will go for the data science workshop only. So right now, this is about the Python. So here, not much about the Pandas will be discussed in this topic. Yeah. Okay, so is it a machine independent? That's the great question now. Yeah, see, first of all the language, if you look at internally, they are connected to machine. But what you're writing the code right now, we are not thinking about machine here right now. And we are not, it is a platform independent. So like in C language, you need to allocate and deallocate memory. So it is more, you need to think about the computer and all, but that's not the case in the Python case. Python take care because internally there is a compiler. See, let me tell you, internally there is a compiler and it has become, that's why platform independent. So question is it a platform independent? Yes, it is a platform independent language. Machine independent or platform independent? Yes, I will say, see, we are not, this Python is not specific to the machine. That's what we can use any operating system, any machine. So it is not dependent. So obviously it is independent. I think I have given already answer that Python is a machine independent, platform independent. Yes, it is an independent language. Okay. So I hope like I try to answer some of the question here, and some of you must have already started done the installation part. Again, I'll be coming back to some more topic about the Python, like the hands-on part. So let me start with some hands-on part again. I hope you can see the screen now. So here, let me tell you something powerful about Python, that Python is having the high-level data structure, a very powerful data structure. So what is data structure here? So data structure is what? See, there are data types and there are data structures. So what is data structure here? So when you say data types, means you can store only single value. But when you say data structure, you can store more than one value. So we have in Python a very powerful data structure, which includes the two categories. One is mutable, the other one is immutable. Now, when you say mutable data structure, means you can modify here. So data which allows you, so you can modify data in this case. So we have some like an example here, like list is a mutable data structure. We have a dictionary as a mutable data structure. Okay, so like that, we have an immutable data structure also, that is a string, tuple, and other data structure also, which are immutable, like number also immutable. If say in the mutable, we can say six, they are also mutable. So where you can modify. So I'll be showing you one demo about one of the data structure like list here. So what is list here? List is, okay, let me tell you about list here. So list is a sequence. So what is a sequence now? It's a mutable sequence of objects. So you imagine like in the case of C++, you have array, but array means you have a sequence of similar type. But in the case of list, you have mutable sequence of any object. So you can have any object. So sequence of objects, and these objects could be anything. It could be integer, could be float, could be string, or any object you can say. So here, list the sequence of any object. And it's a mutable sequence, means you can modify here. So let me show like what you can do with the help of list now. List allows you to do what? Let me show let's say you are defining the list here in this case. How you can define the list? You can just say books. Let me take the example of books now. Simply say square bracket here, and you can say type of books, and it's saying that it is a list now. So this way, that interpreter automatically understand when you just say simply square bracket, it understands this is a list. When you say square bracket, the interpreter is saying it is of the type list now. The other way, you can just say, let's say list one, whatever the type you want to say L1, and you just say list function or list class, and ask the Python interpreter what it is. It is saying it is a list now, right? So what I say about list is a mutable sequence, but you can perform, let me tell you what the powerful thing about this now. You can perform all the operation like the data structure, like you want to insert the data, you can append the data, you can remove the data, all the operation you can perform the list now. So let's say books. Books I can, okay, I can use a list like a stack now. List as a stack. So what is stack here? The question is what is stack? So on some language you must have learned like stack is nothing but a data structure where you can perform the operation like last in first out. So can you perform this last in first out operation? So answer is yes, you can. So list as a stack. So let me show how the list work as a stack now. So here I have the list. Take the example of books here. Any example, I will take it as one of the example. Now, how these books, how you can perform the operation on the book so that it will work like a stack. So here I'm going to use a built-in methods like append to add the book here. Let's say Python book, not appended, it's append only. And like that I can append, let's say 5 to 6 books now. let's say Python, or maybe something Iron Python. The other flavors of Python actually available. CPP and Java, whatever. And simply try to print out. So you can see how books are appended. So you can see this list is having all these books available now. So last book is Java. So let us try to remove it now, because last in, first out. So for that, we simply to say books dot pop, and you can again print. You will see the last book is removed. This last book of Java, it is removed now. So this is what happens. So last in, first out. This is the default feature. So these all methods are available in the books itself. And you can see this feature by simply say dir of books, and you can see all the attributes of the books now. So I use one of the methods like append. But yes, there are other methods also available. Like one more method I use is a pop here. Few other method like extend method, index method, and many more methods are available. So this everything is object. So list is also a class here in the Python. Books is the object of list now in this case, because you just define books equal to square bracket. So Python interpreter understand that by simply saying the square bracket, it understands that this is a list now. Like that, there are many more operations we can perform on the list itself. So I can quickly show you like what else are the operations. I can extend the list by one more list. Let's say I have some books which are .NET, networking. So this is a complete list I added. So I can simply extend the entire books, and you can see the books got extended with a new list now. I can remove the data by name also. Let's say I want to remove CPP. So this is all mutable feature which you can see now, and you can see the books has permission to remove the data also. This is what mutable means here. You can also update by just calling by index. Let's say 0 is the first index, 1 is the second index, and if you want to update by let's say 0, now Python is there. I will say new Python, some new Python books. And this one will get updated. And if you look at the books now, it got updated. So new Python. So this is a way, it gives you flexibility to modify the complete list itself now. So here you must have got certain idea like how the Python is. And I want to show you one of the data structure list here, which is very, very powerful data structure. Again, I'm coming back to theory here or some questions. Theory is something like here, I hope like again, I'll just share the screen now. So I will tell you like who is behind Python. So let us, before proceed further, let us understand some history about Python, because yeah, I just say like this session will be having some theory plus hands-on, so that we should know something more about Python. Who is behind Python? How the Python has come? Who is the person behind it? What are the versions of Python has come? What's the new thing in the Python? All these things we can understand now. So a little bit of history about Python. The person behind the Python, the person who started, his name is Guido van Rossum. He's the person who started this Python as a project, as a fun project. And you must be wondering, why this name Python? Some of the guys who are very much new to the Python, some of you may be knowing, some of you thinking, oh, is this a snake? The answer is no. The name Python has come from the BBC TV show Monty Python. So he was just like having a fan of entertainment or the circus, which was very popular. And as a result, the Gudavandasam thought to have a popular name, and that's why the name Python. It is not related to snake here. So Gudavandasam, he started in 1989, but then yes, many versions has come afterwards. And he was working with the National Research Institute for Mathematical and Computer Science in Netherlands, whereas he's a Dutch person. So in the Dutch language, it's called Centrum voor Wiskunde en Informatica. So that is what the little bit background about the Gudavandasam. So what version came, the major version I'm discussing here, not the retail version, because yes, there are so many minor versions already available in each version. So first major version, you can say 0.9 version, I will say here that it has come in the 1991. Then in January the 1.0 version came January 1994. So now you can understand how old is the language. So the language has come almost 30 years. It's not a language that has come recently. It started in 1989 or 1990 itself, we can say. And now it is 2020. So it's almost a 30 years old language. So it's not the language, it's a very new language here. And been working on it. It has come up with so many projects on the Python. Actually, you can see the 2.0 version has come. Under that also so many sub-versions are there. So let me tell you like what happened in the 0.9 version features. He started with the classes and inheritance, exception handling, functions and models, those kind of features in the he is in the C language. Then after that 1.x version, he added some more features. He started writing C, program for this feature like functional programming, like lambdas, map, filters, reduce, those kind of powerful functions which are already in the Python. Also supporting for the complex number. I started in the 1.x version and some function keyword argument also. Then in the 2.x version, again, there are so many sub-versions like what you see like in the Python 2. So I was using the 2.7, I can say till almost 3 years, like 2017. I was just using till 2017 or 18 also, I can say I was using 2.7 version. But recently only like it is announced that from the December, from this, you can say December 2020, there won't be any support. So already I think I came to know like the support is not there now for this version series, like 2.x series now. So which is the series which we are using now is a 3.x version series now, which is a very much, this feature, the 3.x is a much more mature and is having so many advanced features available. So what are those features available in 2.x version? It has again a feature, very powerful feature like list comprehension, automatic garbage collections, and it has a Unicode and unification of data types. Already support was given, but it was not a built-in the case of 2.x version, but support was there for Unicode also. Then print functional bracket optional was there. It was not, see in the case of Python 2.6x version, in the bracket, hello, like you can see it was not mandatory. It was like optional thing. Whereas in the 3.x version, we need to write a function, like you have to write a bracket here. So for the Unicode also, you are using the U, that way to understand that's the Unicode. And the Python 2.x version, even when you see the division of integer, it was returning always numeric value. It was not returning the exact value here. So that was a feature in the 2.x. Whereas you will see like in the 3.x version, this feature has been modified now. So there you will see the float result, the accurate result there. Even the raw underscore input, which reading the string, that feature is in the 2.x version. It is not version now. We just have only input function available in the 3.x version. 3.x version, again, like there were several releases, like it started in the year 2008. After that, so many versions releases came. Some of the major releases are written here, that 3.6, 3.5, then 3.7. So that way, like you can see, like till May 2018, it was 3.7. And so many features like backward incompatible, print keyword change to print function. Now raw input function is deprecated. So those guys those guys who use a roundest input in 2.x version, and if they're trying in the 3.x version, then this particular function will not work. Now here in this case, built-in Unicode type is there. And yeah, so like that, there are many more points which are added in the 3.x version. Like I shown, like, 5 by 2, here it is 2.5, whereas in the 2.x version, it is not like that. So these are certain differences between the Python 2.x and the 3.x. I hope you can see, like, the 2.x is still supporting for the legacy application. And I just say, like, the 3.x version is now you have to go for 3.x version only, because the support is given for 3.x version only. And yeah, so specifically all those projects which are written in the 2.x version, you may go for 2.x series. But then if you want to start a new development, I will recommend to go for only 3.x series only. Yeah, this is all about some you can say the history about the Python, and also the differences between the 2.x and the 3.x series. So here again, I think I've given a little bit theory part here, and would like to give a small break before we proceed further here. And can have a question in the break also. Any question? We can discuss certain question now. We'll give a break for 5-10 minutes here. I hope you got the history and then understood, like, the difference, the 2.x and 3.x, and which version we should go for it. Great. So we'll have a break for 5 minutes, and then we'll continue. Of the Python, I have already discussed. I hope, like, again, like, if I'm audible again, right? So, like, some of the feature I already discussed, like the language is very easy, and why you should go for Python. I already given the answer, but those guys who still want to know, like, why Python, so let me give you some more thing about why Python here. See, Python is, I'm like, very easy to go ahead, like, in terms of coding. The language is indented. You do not require to write any semicolon, like in case of a C language or Java or a Perl language also. After every statement, it is mandatory to write a semicolon here. There you try to curly bracket and start bracket, end bracket, but here it is indentation. The language is readable language. It's a language which is developer-friendly language, because why I'm saying developer-friendly, because developer did not require to worry about machine here. Simply write it as a high level. It's a very high level language. So it's like an English language now. The language is readable, so it's readable. So it is a well indented language. So very, very important part is indentation here. Means the white spacing is very, very important in the Python case. So it is recommended for all the programmers who like to start. So that way is a very, very easy language. The language is very much expressive language. This is a very powerful feature. Again, like, it has just a few lines of code, and you can focus on solution rather than syntax here. So most of the language, what happens, like, why it is expressive language, because whatever you want to do, you just decide. You are focusing here on solution, not on the syntax part. Other language like C++, Java, you need to think too much about syntax. But in the Python case, it is all about what do you want to do. You just tell and you write the code. So simply you can start focusing on the solution here rather than, so that's why it's called expressive language. One more thing I told you, like, it's an open source language. It's a freely available. So this is all the point, which is one of the feature of the Python, very powerful feature, free and open source. I already shown, like, how to download also. Most of you guys must have already downloaded from the python.org, or from, even you can download the Anaconda tool, which includes the Python by default. And it has a free source code also available. So as per your choice, you have a GUI programming support available. I already told you, like, is library available, like tkinter, KV, WX Python, 555, like that. There are many more libraries already available. It also has, I told you one more point, like high level language point already discussed, is that way it is a programmer friendly. You don't require to worry about memory management here. Allocation and deallocation is not a challenge in the case of Python. So it is independent of system architecture. So this was a question asked also. So again, like I'm repeating here that this is a language which is independent of system architecture. It is not like a C language here now. One more point was asked and one more question was asked, like whether the language is platform independent or not. I have already given the answer that the language is platform independent. It works on all the OSs, like Windows, all OSs, Linux, or all the versions of Linux. By default, whenever you install Linux, you get the Python also along with that. Like if you see the Ubuntu and all, there you get the CentOS, Ubuntu. By default, you will see Python is already installed if you have installed the source code and all, packages and all. So these are all already available nowadays with the operating system like Linux or Mac. Mac you can, Unix you can install it, or in the Windows you can download and install it. But in Unix based, most of the case, like you will see the Python is available, or you can download the latest version. It's very easy to do that. The language is portable that way. Some features which are very powerful, like again, like some questions are asked, like the last standard library. So it all depends on your requirement. You can decide what library you want to use it. Those who would like to go for the web programming, they can go for Django. Those who like or web or Flask or the pyramids. Those who want to go for machine learning or AI-based, artificial intelligence, they can go for the library which is like TensorFlow or neural network programming. They also can go for TensorFlow library. Again, it is written in the Python. Those who want to go for data science, they can go for Pandas library. Those who and even the NumPy is used in the case of it is for array also, numeric array and all you can do. So you have the various library available, and it is up to the requirement you need to go for it. So not necessary to, it is your choice here now. You have to decide whether you would like to go for data science, whether you want to go for machine learning, or whether you want to go web programming, whether you want to go for testing. Based on that, you need to go for the language. The another feature of the Python is dynamic typing. I already shown with a demonstration that it executes the code during the runtime. I have shown like data equal to hello and in a single quote. And it understood that this is a string. Whenever you put single quote, double quote, even there is one more quote called triple quote available in the Python. That is for the multi-line string. So by default, interpreter understands that this is a string. If you give the value, something like numerical value, interpreter says this is the number, or you can say integer here. So based on the value, it understands it. It has a dynamic memory allocation. So here, you are not allocating the memory like other language. You are allocating the memory, but here you are not allocating the memory. Simply, you just write the values, and based on that, automatically or dynamically, the memory is allocated here. And it has also automatic garbage collection, so you don't require to deallocate also. So this is all taken care by the interpreter itself. So next thing is, what are the benefits of Python? Python has numerous benefits. Let me tell you, I told you already these things are easy to learn. I told you that it's a language which is most productive, mature and supportive Python community language. I think these points are already discussed, so I don't need to again repeat this. So these points are already done. Yeah, the limitations, this is a point which was left, is actually why we need to know is that do you have limitation also? Because mostly every language has a certain benefits and certain limitations. So do you have any limitations in the Python? The answer is yes. If I had to compare, if I had to go for specifically embedded programming, or maybe you can say device level programming or system programming, then what I take care about is memory here. There I think about too much about memory, like the speed matters a lot. So when you want to go for the speed, like operating system programming and all system programming, then Python is not recommended for that. It's not the recommended language. Although, yes, you can create a high level thing, but then not recommended because it is see what happened in the Python interact with the compiler, and then compiler interact with the machine name. It is indirect way communication. That way it is a little bit slow compared to the C and C++ language. But why the speed is not mattering nowadays is why still we are going for Python is because nowadays we have a high level machine configuration. In the initial stage, where we were actually worried about the memory part, we were having a limited RAM, limited devices capacity, but now it is not there. Now we have we have a high-speed memories available. We have even the storage also available, so we don't require to worry nowadays. So that is all. That all limitations already taken care by the infrastructure part itself. Yeah, these are something which I say like, we have to follow certain principle of the Python. Even the indentation is mandatory in the Python. So you cannot write a code without indentation here. So we have to follow. Like Python is based on the principle. Like one of the principle is a dry principle. Do not repeat yourself. Is also so if you look at the import and these, you will see like the Python is following those principles like called PAPE 8 standard. And these standards are already defined. If you go for it and you come to this, if you want for the better programmer, go for the PAPE 8 standard. So this is all summary about the Python which we have taken now, and the features, limitations, and all. And the next part will be the various applications which you can develop using the Python. Again, in between, I like to have the hands-on. Then we can go for the what all application as an entrepreneur, what you can do with the help of Python. Because my main topic, why I wanted to take this webinar or workshop is only to tell you like you can do whatever you want to do it. This is the most important part of this particular Python session now. That now you can decide what do you want to do using the Python. What career you like to make it, that's your choice now. And I'll tell you like which are the company, who are the company who are already using the Python, what kind of achievement they have done using the Python. That also I'll be sharing in the Python application itself. So very, very powerful session we'll be discussing here in the 15 applications of the Python here. So meanwhile, I'd like to see any questions you have so that I will try to answer here. So there are questions. Okay, I'll just wait for some more question here. I'm not able to see much question, but most of the question I think I already answered here. Okay, someone asked me the question like R software. See, R is a language which is a special or domain specific language. It is specifically for the data science. Whereas Python is for, as I say, it is a general purpose language. So it is not mandatory that you should be using the Python for only data science. Python is having a huge library for data science, but it is not a language mandatory for like Python. You should be using only for data science. So in case of R, it is like you are using the R only and only for data science or statistics, because prior to R, it was a statistics language. And from S language, the R language came. So although I also learned the R language, but I found like, okay, to go for Python because using the Python, you can do whatever you wish. Your choice then. You have the flexibility, whether you want to go for web programming, whether you want to go for data science, that choice is already there. I hope I answered the Arthava, your question. Atharva Madhur, right. Okay, so any other question you can just, maybe I can unmute someone so that, I don't know whether that, or you can unmute yourself. Is it allowed? If you have a question and you want to ask some, let me know like whether I'm audible or not. Okay, there's one more question here. If I install the PyCharm, can I use Anaconda or need to install Anaconda? See, Anaconda and PyCharm, these are two different things. See, Anaconda is a distributed library which includes the Python as well as data science, everything. You can integrate Anaconda with the PyCharm also. You also have Spider available. You know, it is not necessary to go for PyCharm also. You have a Spider option available in Anaconda. So that's your choice. And but I just say like, if you want to go for data science library, then my recommendation, data science, then I will recommend to go for the Anaconda. But if you want to go for the let's say other thing, other like web or some development part, then it is your choice. Then you can go for PyCharm as one of the powerful a powerful IDE. But yeah, there are other also IDE available like VS Code is also there. It is your choice. And it's let me tell you, these are just IDE. It's even the simplest one is a Sublime text editor, which is available for all the languages. So that's your choice. You can definitely the code I'll be showing one demo where I won't be using any I won't be using Anaconda and still I can write the code. So let me do that demo also. Now here very easy something very easy way to go for Python. And that is to start with the console part. Now here I'm going to start the terminal as it's a Unix operating, it's a Mac operating system. I'm starting one of the maybe novel one. Okay, that's fine. So many windows. So yeah. So here this particular shell. Maybe I will focus on this one. I will increase the font also. Here, let me show like how Python, like let's say I don't have any IDE. Can I write the Python script without any IDE? Answer is yes. So I can just say Python 3 because I have a 2 version here, Python 2 as well as Python 3. If I say Python 3, it will go for Python 3. If I say just Python, it will go for Python 2. So I'm just saying Python 3 here. And if I just type here, I can see there is a, there is a Python shell available. Now here also, I can type the script like print welcome to Python or whatever you want to say. You can simply say hello in the bracket. I can do certain calculation also. So now in this case, I did not install Anaconda. I just installed Python. Like you can also install Python by using the Python org and there you can practice it. So to learn Python, you do not require to worry about IDE first. If you are the beginner, then IDE comes secondary part. You first install the Python from the python.org site, which I just shown you. And then you can try the small code here. If you are very good in the Unix environment, you can write even you can write a code in the V editor, or you can also go for the very simple IDE called Sublime Text Editor. Let me show you like how you do that using the Sublime Text Editor. I may have the Sublime Text Editor here. So I will require to stop sharing for a few seconds to check where is the, yeah, I can check it here, Sublime, yeah, it's there. So this is the one text editor, very simple to start. Those who are, and this is again a platform independent. Here you don't require to worry about specific OS now. This is available, Sublime Text IDE is available for Unix as well as for the Windows as well as for the Mac now. So there, here also you can write a program. You can just say file. And yeah, here I had to just close this. Otherwise, the previous programs. Yeah. So here, if I say print, welcome to Python. I'll just say file, save, or I can say save as. Fine, I can do later on also. I'll just say test.py here. And I can decide where I want to save it now. So mostly I'll save in the my home directory, but you can save that. Just say maybe any program name could be. I have already told so many times hello, so hello Okay, it will be right now. Overwrite it. I just said .py for the py extension. Now you can see interpreter already understand this is a Python program now. I have tools like build system using Python. I can set it here in the Sublime text. And by command B, it will execute. The output will be visible here itself. You can see the welcome to Python. The output has come now. Here you can write some more lines now, because in the case of IDE, in the case of shell, you have like limitation to write the code, but here there's no limitation. Let's say you want to perform some operation like some basic operation. Let's say your variable 1 equal to some numeric value 500. We have variable 2 having something like 800, and you want to do something addition here, where you can again write the code here like addition of var1. I'm just writing a different way now. var1 and var2 is, and you can say simply one of the ways, like you can say var1 plus var2. Now let me tell you, I did not use any semicolon here, any statement, and still I try to, let us try to execute this. Whether the output comes or not. If the error comes, let it be. So you can see it has come the output now, addition of var1 and var2. In case you want to see the greatest number, you can see if var1 greater than var2. Again, here there's an indentation is very important. Here I'm not using the like we can say the curly bracket here, and say simply print var1 is, again indentation here, print var2. So what will happen in this case? What will be the output? Yes. What will be the output here in this case?
var1.
var1, because var1 is greater or what?
var2
it has come, right?
var2.
Yes. So the output should be var2, right? Because we have so this is the output, 800. So you can write it here, which is the greatest number. So like that, the coding can be written here. Yes, a lot of things can be done. This was just like sample to show you like how you can do without any IDE, without Anaconda. I just use a Sublime text IDE or text editor, you can say, and here you can write other programming also like C, C++, Java, and other languages, because that options are available here. You can see there's a build system, even support the other language also. Because sometimes I use a Ruby, sometimes R, C, C++. One of the powerful text editor, very simple text editor is the Sublime text. So I given one more, I added one more, you can say ID here. But as I say, it's your choice whether you want to go for PyCharm. I do have PyCharm also, but then it is a little bit complex to start as compared to this Sublime text. You can say Sublime text is something very, very simple text editor like Notepad++. Those who know Notepad++ in Windows, they can also understand Sublime text editor. But my favorite one is still Anaconda, because here I don't require to worry. I simply write whatever code I want to write it. I can also load my programs. Some of the programs I must have written previously. Let me see like any programs, or I can write the program here. I'll show like one simple program, maybe a greatest of 3 number. How do you write a greatest of 3 number in the Python? Using the, I hope like this screen is visible to you. This notepad, notebook. Someone can respond me whether this notebook is visible or not. Jupyter notebook.
Yeah, it's visible. It's visible.
Okay, great. So now here I'm writing a very simple program using the Python. here we are going to see a little bit of control flow also. So here, how to do that? So if you want to get a stop three number, how to do that? So we can write a simple code first, and then we can modify the same code. So first I'm writing the comment first. So every step you will understand. Get a stop three number to the comment. So hash is for comment. So it's a single line comment. So I'm writing one small script because to understand like this is the way the program is written in the Python Jupyter notebook also. Then what we need is a three numbers. I can take it as an input also from the keyboard, or I can define it immediately. So first I will define, then we can take the this in as an input from the keyboard. So how we can define, let's say first, second, third. I can define in a three line also. I can define in one line also. Now I'm defining one line. It's a Pythonic way of doing that. So what I'm doing here, first, let's say it could be 45, then something like 34, any number I'm taking it. So what happened here, one line only, I could define this called parallel assignment. I have just assigned the value for the first variable, the 45 for second variable, 34, and for third, I define 23 now, right now. Now, let me see the condition. So here I'll say if first is greater than second, and here I'm writing the two conditions, whether the first is greater than second, and means we are checking both the conditions here, and first is greater than third. Then in the and the space print first is greater. And I can simply write first here, comma first. Now here I have to check the two conditions, like I have to have if and elif here now. It means else. So there is a shortcut available for that called elif. That is for else. So here we use the elif rather than else. So elif, I need to check only one, that is whether the second is greater than third or not. Then in that case, if second is greater than third, I'll just say here by single quote or double quote, both the way it is allowed. Second is greater. And I can say comma, second. Last part is the else part. Here I can say print, third is greater. And the third number is printed here. Now this I can execute as a complete cell, will be with the indentation. You can see the code is readable, very simple. I'm doing the get stop three number here. I did not put any much bracket also, but then you can see that in this program, I did not put any curly bracket. I did not put any semicolon, but I use a colon here because here Python interpreter understand that the code logic, the block, you can see the block by indentation. So after the colon, there is a one tab is there. That tab is a indentation, and it's very, very important. And let me execute this. And you can see the output is greatest of this T number is 45 now. Now this program, we can make it more dynamic. Right now, we already assigned the value. And if you want to give this as an input, you can save this you can take the input from the keyboard also. So how to do that? Here I'm going to assign the value here for this for first, second, third using the keyboard. So here I'm saying first is equal to input, enter first value. And you can just say first. Like that, I'll take the three value here like this. there is a second value.
1 बजे अपन ने अपना खा लेना चाहिए, 1-1:30 बजे. हाँ, नहीं.
Third value, right? So now let us see how does it work now. Oh, it is saying that Ron. Okay, did I type Ron underscore input? Why it is showing this way? This is the input. I hope first. Okay, can someone tell me what is why it is saying Ron underscore input here?
Typecast.
This is the Python 2 or Python 3 only, right? Let me type now. Sorry, here I don't require to write it. I'm doing it now, comma, that is the wrong thing. That's like a print statement, I'm doing it. So that's a mistake. The first mistake was like, I put like a print statement. Okay. It's not a print statement, it's taking the input. That's the first mistake. So that is overcome now. Now it is asking for the enter the first value. So here I'm giving some value, second value, third value. Now you can see it is showing the third is greatest number. But this is wrong again. You can see I have given second value is a 545. It should have given as a 545 greatest number. But what you see the output is the third is greatest number, which is a wrong thing again. So why it is? So we have to learn this now, why it is giving the wrong thing. So let me tell you some secret here. Here, what is happening, print the type first and see what happens. The type, if you say here, it is saying string type. So what is happening here? It is comparing the, here we are comparing the string, not the number. That's why whatever the value you are seeing, the output, it was something giving the wrong result here. So here, that's why it was coming wrong. So here also you can see the, so result is like anonymous now. So that's why it is very important for us to typecast. So here I have to do int of this. See, understand the error also. I'm showing you the error because you understand like what happened when you can just check it like the type of first and see it is showing the string. Yeah, we need to check it. What is the type here? Because in the input statement, by default, it takes the string. So if you want some other value like float or something else, you need to typecast it. So here we just use a class int and typecast it now. And now if you see it, you will get the proper result. So now you say 34 or whatever you want giving, it is showing it is integer now. Now you can see it is, whatever you try it now, you'll get the appropriate result. Okay, so how can you save in the notebooks? So there is a command for that. That is write file. And I can say greatest.py. I must have saved this several times, so I'm just doing that. Greatest overwriting. And now I can run here also. I can run from anywhere now, from outside also. And you can see the program is executed. I can run from the fail, I can run from the anywhere. So this is the way it works. So this is one of the small piece of code to tell you like how the Python interpreter works, how you can execute the Python script now. So that when you try it, you understand that whatever I did here is like the writing the code, even you have to see the indentation part specifically, like the spacing. You can see the way I have given the space here. If you do not provide the space, you will get the indentation error. You may try here, I'll show the simple demo, like how indentation is very important in the Python. So if I say data is equal to something like a hello here, and I just say print data. You believe like it should print the hello, right? But see what happened. The result is indentation error. So why? Because I just given one additional space here in the beginning, which is invisible to us, right? So this is very, very important right now that this space, because right now there are only 2 lines, that's okay, we can understand it. But imagine when you're writing multiple lines of code, that time, if you are given any additional space or you're not given a space, you may face this particular indentation error. So Python is a language which is a indented language, and it will be very, very careful in the case of Python. So I hope you guys understand like how you can write a program in the Python here. So any question? Okay, the question is like, shouldn't we use a typecasting for accessing integer? I think maybe an old question, maybe. I already done that part. Yeah, we need to do typecasting. That's what first I wanted to show, like, like what happens if you do not do it. And that's why I did not do that in the beginning. And I wanted to show like, if you don't do typecasting, then we may get the wrong result, because there we are comparing by string, because input statement by default, it takes string only. So if you want the specific data types, definitely you need to do typecasting. There's one question like, which is actually not related to Python, but I'd like to answer it. What IDE I should use it for PySpark? So again, Anaconda is one of the best IDE. If you can integrate PySpark with the Anaconda, Jupyter library, PySpark, or you need to go for then, because PySpark works specifically for the big data analysis. And there are certain, you can say, recommendation for that. Like you need to go for some Hadoop as a backend thing. So you need to have the Hadoop environment. And also you need to go for the, like one of the things is like available for the PySpark is the Databricks. They are also providing the Jupyter only. Jupyter Notebook is the best IDE for the PySpark also. Yeah, I think I have answered the Kasim answer. Anybody having any other questions? Still, you can ask the question so that I can try to answer it. Okay, how to run command in the Sublime text editor. So I have already typed the command, but there's an execution is there. If you can see here. Okay, let me share the screen once again. So this is Sublime text editor right now. And whatever the script I written, it is in the, I just say file, new, and I have written the code here. I just say command B, and that way I could write. But in the input statement, it doesn't work. Input statement case, the Sublime text is not a suitable one. For that, you can go for the writing, executing this file wherever it is saved. Let me check where I save it now. So you just need to run by using the Python then. So here this program was not saved, I guess. What is the name? Oh, hello.py only. Okay, I did not modify it. Okay, so it was written in the so whatever the name, maybe whatever the sample. Okay, just let me write a sample .py, and this is in this particular directory. So there I'm just trying now sample.py, and see one way I can say command B. There is an option available, like in this case there's a build by which you can execute. But then when you go for the input, when you want to take the input from the keyboard, then you have to run from the terminal only. So here you have to go for terminal then. I already opened one terminal, so let me show that. And I'll just exit from the PyShell now. And now here, I can just say Python, whatever the version I have, let's say Python 3. And I think I done what is the name item? sample, I guess, right? Sample.py. So this is the file name. I can run it from here also, .py. And this way it will execute now. You can see this is what the way you can execute. So here, if there's something that you like, if you want to take the input from the keyboard, then that times you should be executing from from your prompt itself. In case of Windows also, you'll have the command prompt. In Unix also, you have prompt available. So from there, you should execute the script then. I hope I answered the question now. Okay. So here it was, okay, let me again come back to theory again. So theory, practical in between where to come. Now, very important part about the Python. I hope again the screen is visible. Why we should learn the Python. So this is very, very important topic now to understand. So various applications of the Python, and it's a very big topic. Let me tell you, I'm like, if you want to talk about applications, there are numerous applications available in the Python. Now, here I'm talking about top 15 Python applications, so which are web applications or desktop applications. So I'll be giving some example also, and then I'll tell you like how Python is used for developing those kind of applications. So that we'll be discussing about some web application, GUI-based application. I'll tell you an example of console-based application and the software development part. And yeah, let us see then. So one of the things which is very popular is, that is a web application. And one of the example of web application is Instagram. I hope like most of you guys are already aware about Instagram and how popular it is now. Like it is having the billions of users connected now. Even the Facebook is saying like, the Instagram popularity is increasing more, in such a way that the Facebook is also having a little bit fear about Instagram now. So let me look. This particular Instagram is developed using the Django, as well as obviously Django is a framework written in the Python now. And also uses the other framework also like pyramid framework and all. Just give me a second. So I hope like, sorry for interruption. Like, I hope like this is like let me tell you about the Instagram, which is very, very popular, and it is written using the Django. So and also there are other web framework like Flask framework is also popular. It's called Micro framework. Those who want to start with you can say low level. It has a small web application, then they can go for the Flask also. And Django is one of the popular one for the CMS as well as for. So how the Instagram, is like, if you look at the Instagram, the users, Instagram is having the 1 billion monthly active user. See how it started. It started in 2010, then gradually it has increased. Like that time we were in the 1 million, and it has reached from 1 million user to the now. If you look at till 2018, there were almost 1 billion users. So this is what Instagram is having that capability. And let me tell you, this particular application is developed using Django, which is a Python web framework, and also there are many more technology which are integrated with Django now. So this is like for entrepreneur to understand, like, if you learn the Python, if you understand the Python, if you understand the Django, if you understand the Flask, if you understand some library about the Python, you can also develop such kind of application. Even let me tell you, like Python is the Google search engine, which most of you guys are using, is developed using the Python. Dropbox, which is also developed using the Python. So let me tell you, there are a lot of applications which are developed using the Python. So you can see some more applications. YouTube, I think most of you guys are already using YouTube, which is one of the fastest, the video streaming application. and it is also developed using the Python. Dropbox, Google, Quora, all these popular whatever application you see, these all applications are developed using the Python. So why you should learn Python? You can see if you want to go, even if you want to work for such a company, let me do my students, they're working Google. So now I just spoke to some of the students and they're saying like, the Python is like everywhere they're using it. So this is one of the reasons you should learn the Python. And obviously like it to go in depth of the topic, not like just the basic level here. So you need to go for Python, then you may require to go for the web programming like Django, or you may go for, if you're interested in data analysis or business analysis, then go for the data science. So or if you want to go for again a little bit like machine level programming, then go for the library which is sklearn, or so that way you have to explore the Python. So let me even I'm into the Python training for past you can say 2007, almost 12 to 2007, almost 13, 14 years now. But then let me tell you, from that time till now also, I'm still exploring the Python. So much of development is happening in the Python. So there's no end in learning the Python. So I'll see in my training career, I've been using the Python extensively for everything, whatever I want to do, like whether it's a network automation or whether it's a web application development, whether it's a automation testing. In all cases, I'm using the Python now. Python, some company I'm taking the Python only for GUI programming. So one of the popular library which is there is a TK Inter or TK library, you can say. So this is like a library which you can use it for the graphic GUI programming. And there are some which are popular applications, which are GUI-based application available for PyQt or PySide. Very professional, like Qt is a professional and a very much mature library available for the GUI building. You can see some other application also, like this is one example, like where you can see like which is created by the library called PyQt. There are also console-based application available, which are also developed in the Python. So there is I'll give you one example, like terminal tables is also one of the console-based application, and you can install this as one of the Python small projects. There are software development like a make utility available using the Python, like scons is one of the build controls available. So your choice, this is your choice, whether what do you want to do it, whether you want to develop the web application, whether you like to develop the GUI application, whether you like to do the console-based application or some other software development utility, Python is allowing to do that. So yes, you have the options available. Like scon is something which is a software development open source software construction tool, like make it available. We also have scientific, like those, I just say like for those who like to go for scientific library, we have NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and so many libraries available. There are business applications, like you have a e-commerce based application available, which are also developed in the Python. And I can see like there are some libraries like OpenERP that also having the Python as a major thing. Yes, even for audio video based applications, we have options available. Like if you want to go for that, we have a team player, C-Play, this kind of applications which are video based and audio based applications, Qt Phonon, GStreamer. Then we have enterprise application like OpenERP, Triton, and Picalo. These are like real-time applications which are available for the enterprise, and most of the companies they are already using the OpenERP as one of the popular application available, which is also developed in Python. Then for image processing, we have OpenCV, Pilos, Simple, TK. For game development, I already showed previously also like Pygame is one of the popular one. Yes, there are also PySoy, which is also for the 3D game application development. Civilization is one of the example of Civilization I4. This is one of the popular game which is developed in the Python. Then for the library like Pandas, scikit-learn is for machine learning, Pandas is for data frame, data science, NumPy is for the already discussed. So this kind of library can also be used for data science and machine learning. And for visualization, Matplotlib, Seaborn, this kind of library you can use it. Then you also have a web scraping library available. Like let's say you want to scrap the data from the various websites and get a report, you can go for the web scraping library also. So we have examples for the web scraping library also available. I already shown like Beautiful Soap and all those kind of libraries are available. I already discussed like the Raspberry Pi is one of the popular embedded applications. Those who like to go for the something into hardware, they would like to write some programming on the hardware. You can also buy this Raspberry Pi using the Amazon. You can just order it, and you can, your kids can also start writing the small program on this Raspberry Pi device. Yeah, there are even like other than like software development, like we have some software like CAD application development is also available like in the Python. So it is your choice now. There is option available for mechanical engineer. So the next part comes is the career in Python. So before we actually discuss about the career, again we'll come back to the practical part and see the hands-on and some question also. So here I'll again stop sharing the screen and would like to see some questions again. So I hope you understood, like there is a great career in the Python. It is your choice. Whether you like to go for the web application, or whether you like to go for GUI programming or all. So I can see some question now. Difference between Jupyter Notebook and Sublime Text. So let me tell you, there's a huge difference. It's not the same. Sublime Text is a very, very simple and is a very, very small application, you can say, compared to the Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook, you can record everything and you can execute step by step, and it is a part of Anaconda itself, you can say. And Sublime Text is independent of Python. It is not only for it's not a Python specific ID. It is a generic ID like Notepad++. Whereas Jupyter Notebook is specifically created for data science library, Python, as well as for the R. And yeah, it has so much of already included. Like, it includes almost, you can say, 850 plus packages of Python, which include the data science packages already there when you try to do something in the Jupyter Notebook. But that is not the case in the Sublime Text Editor. Sublime Text Editor is just a small, simple text editor, like you have a Notepad++, where you can execute the Python script by using the Python compiler. When you already have Python interpreter available, then only you can execute it. Okay, I hope I have answered the question. So it is your choice now here, whether you want to go for the Jupyter Notebook, but then Sublime Text is like a very, very simple IDE. Not Jupyter Notebook, we can do a lot of stuff. Any questions you're having? Still, we can have some question. Because I think it is very important to even understand your understanding. So can you unmute and ask the question so that you can raise the hand? We'll see like if anybody's on the question, we'll try to answer it. Anything you'd like to know about Python as a hands-on you'd like to see, or you'd like to see as a career? Because I'll be talking about the career after this. And we'll have more questions to discuss. So I can see there are no question here as of now. Okay, great. Fine. So would you like to see some more hands-on, or would you like to see the career in the Python right now? Can you just say like whether you would like to see the hands-on or like to see the career in the Python? What all the careers are there in Python? Because I already given you some idea that what you can do with the, okay, I can see the response here, hands-on. Very good. So let me then come back to the hands-on part then. So here I will be sharing one more time the screen, and there I'll be showing the hands-on part of the Python now. I'm coming back to Jupyter again. I just want to actually make you familiar with this Jupyter as well as some other ID. I hope you got familiar with the now whatever we have seen till now hands-on. Like we just started with basic things like addition, multiplication, and also we saw the data types and now data structure. The list part, we saw it like how the list works. Obviously, it is a powerful mutable data structure. And I have shown one simple example here, which is related to if and elite structure. So I'll show now one example related to function now. So what is function in the Python? So let me tell you the function also. How do you define function in the Python? So here you have the user-defined function and we have the built-in function also. So let me show you first user-defined function. So you can write a function by the keyword called def, and you can simply write what is the function name you want to write it. Maybe you can try even this program into the function, like this particular program. I will convert it to function first. So how I can convert this entire program into the function? So let me write this code inside this GKTCS. So I'll write a GKTCS here. Function name, and let me write a function. In this case, I will say this is the comment I'm writing, the document for the GKTCS of 3 number. Now I can write the complete code here. Now I need to indent the code, otherwise I'll get the syntax error. So the code needs to be indented. See how I'm indenting code. In the Python case, even the function is also object. Everything is object in the Python. So what I did here, I say GKTCS of 3 numbers. So I have to be the first, second, and third. So I pass this parameter now. Function and the parameter first, second, and third. So here I can just execute this script and see how does it work. Right now, it is just a function where if I'm not getting any error, it means this, the code is executed correctly. What I learned, I just defined this function, but I did not call it now. So how to call it? You simply say GKTCS and give the value whatever you want to give it now. And you get the result that third is greater here in this case. Third number is greater. So in this case, whatever the value I'm giving, so I don't require to worry about. So it will take it. Now, if I'm giving numeric value, it will take numeric. It will take string value. If I give a string value, it will take string also. So it is just parameter I'm passing. These are the variable, here I'm passing the parameter now. And I can call it n number of times. You can just say whatever you want to provide a value here. And then you can call it. You can also give the new name to this function now. I have given the GKTCS here and I want to give the new name. I can say G is equal to GKTCS. The name. So what is the name exactly? It should be there. If there's a spelling mistake, it will not work. So now what is G in this case? Let us see. G is a function now. I just given a new name. It's like alias. And now I can just pass the parameter to G also. And you can get the result. So what is G? Again, like it's a object, right? See what you see, the G is a function object, and you can see the various parameters to G also. And this is a function object, and there's a various built-in attribute already available. And that's why Python is object-oriented now. Now here, I can also call various documents like a G dot double underscore doc. I want to see like what is the documentation for this particular function. And if you execute this, you'll see it is a GKTCS of 3 numbers, which was written in this case before the function name. You can see here, GKTCS of 3 numbers. This is a doc string. Now this doc string I written in a triple quote, right? So now I can also see the help of this G. Help of G. And you can see the result. So this is whatever the function. So help is saying that GKTCS first, second, third. So automatically the help is created. and the document is also there now. You can see how the code is. Those who want to try it, you can just try it. Whatever the code was written, like for the first, I just say here, I just pass the 3 parameters, first, comma, second, comma, third. You can pass any argument here. And based on that, I have passed the parameter here now. So this was a function with a 3 parameter. You can write a function with a with parameter, without parameter, or as per your choice, even the variable argument parameter. That is something, a specific thing in the Python available. So something new now, this is something available in other programming language also. But like, let me show some example, which are like a specific example available, like a factor of some number. Can you write some factor of some number here? So someone may think about, I have written in the C++ or C language or Java. So can you do in the Python also? And so yes, you can. You can simply write def factorial, whatever the name you want to write it. You know what is factorial? First of all, let me tell you what is factorial. Factorial is like here, let's say, if I say factorial of 5, it will come like a 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3. It's like we can call recursive function, or you can have other way also to write it. This is the way result will come now. So we want to write, the function which will give the result of multiplication of all this thing now. So how to write it? So for that, I'm just writing the def, write the function name, factorial, pass some argument if you want to pass it. Let's say, okay, you can say any argument, just arg, and this is like factorial of n number. I want to write factor of argument. Okay, n. I'll write it now here. That way it will be like factor of n number. So now you have to think about logic here. Here, obviously, like logic development, it takes time. So those who already know in the C, C++, Java, they can write the logic here. But how we can do in Pythonic way, that also is here now. So what logic we should write here now? Here, we want the result should be like, 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by, like when I pass 5, it should be returning 120 as a factor of 5 now. So how it is possible here? So let me show that with a so let us write some logic. By using the for loop we should do, or something else. So if something we can say some number. Then what will happen in this case? N is greater than 0. Okay, if n is less than what? Okay, let me. If n is less than 0, what? It should return something. Return 1. So there are two ways. I'm writing one of the ways like, okay, it should return 1 if n is less than 0 or equal to less than or equal to 0. So else part will be return. Someone can tell me like how we can do recursive function here? N multiplied by fact and minus 1. So whether it is going to work or not, let us test it. Whether it is going to work or not. So let us write fact of 5. Oh, getting the 0 is not working at all. Why? We have written something wrong here. Here we said less than equal to, not just less than. So here it was spelling here itself. So we have to write the complete condition here. So this was like recursive function. Here I would say recursive function because I call the function inside function. So one of the way of writing the factor of number. Otherwise, the other way is it could be like a for loop. There, that way also you can write a number. That way also you can write the same program. In something in the new in the Python, that Python you can also have a variable argument in the Python. So I'll show you some example, which is very interesting and is something like def variable function and say star arg and double star kw arg. Here I'm defining variable argument in function. So what is variable argument in function? That is what we are going to see now. Let me show something magic here. So what is this star ARG and double star KWRG? That is what we are going to understand. See the interesting part here. What you see here? Okay, firstly the error. Why error? Because comma is not given here. That is very important. Let me tell you how the syntax error comes. So here the comma is mandatory in this case. Otherwise you will face this kind of error. Now it is perfect. So where function. And now if I pass any argument, whatever the, I'm like, you can pass maybe a string, you can pass number, you can pass floating point number, you can pass a list also, like this. Everything is accepted, and see what happens. Oh, result has come as something called tuple. The arguments are whatever I mentioned here. And the other one is, but then other bracket, what is the default argument? It is shown here, a curly bracket, which is what here in the Python is called this particular thing. But what you see here is a curly bracket is a dictionary here. So again, it's a data structure part of the Python. So let me show you something else now here. How the dictionary is taken care. So here we have, let's say, A is equal to something, apple, and let's say B is equal to banana, something like this, and see the result now. So you got default arguments also. You got the dictionary, which is, this is what dictionary. So here, I just passed two arguments, and they are a very, very special argument. Star ARG means here the important thing is the star, not the ARG. ARG could be anything, I mean, it could be anything. So here, when you say single star, it holds, you can tuple of value or comma separated value. And when you say double star, it holds default variable argument. That is like whatever the argument we define as a default variable, they're all taken care by the double star here. So this is like to give the idea about how the function works. Obviously, we can take n number of examples for function also. So any question here? So let me first find out if there are some questions. Any question? Like I just discussed the topic function here. As I think you must understood like how to define the function. You simply say def function name, and in case you want to pass the parameter, you can pass the parameter there. I also shown some special function like variable argument function here. Yes, there are other things to also understand, like how to define local variable, how to define a global variable. Like that, many more things can be done in the function case here. So any question here, if you have any question, let me know. Otherwise, we'll proceed further for the another topic that is one of my favorite topic, that is the object-oriented programming. And how many guys would like to know that? Okay, let me know like how many guys would like to know how to write classes in the Python or how to create your own object in the Python. So raise your hand if you would like to, I can see many participants raise a hand for. Okay, great. So many of the guys would like to know the object-oriented program. I'll be showing you how to write the classes. So most of the guys are on the great. So now here I'll be taking the object-oriented programming feature now of the Python, which is very, very important, very powerful, because till now what I have shown I have shown here something like what is there in the built-in thing in the Python. Yes, again, there are built-in functions also, very powerful functions are in the Python. Like we have a function like lambda, we have a function like map, filter, reduce. Reduce is not there in the 3.x version now, it is in the 2.x version. We have a zip function, and we also have some special utility like lambda function. So they are all functions. But now here I'm going to show not just function, but I will show you like the object-oriented programming using the Python. So again, I'm sharing the screen now because most guys are very much interested to know about the object-oriented programming in the Python. So here, again, I'm sharing the screen here. So now, like Python, the object-oriented scripting language. So here, by default, the classes are written, and you can simply use the classes and you can write your script. It's a function language also. But in case you are the developer and you want to write your own classes, so you can override the existing classes. That's one of the things. Because in the Python, they are also objects. So let me show the demo for that. So object-oriented programming in the Python. Now, how do you write a class here? Simply writing the class is very simple thing to do in the Python. You say class, let's say we were talking about the car here. Let us take the example of car now. So when you design something like, the class is something called template or a blueprint. I just, when I define the definition of Python, then I say the class is a blueprint. So how do you define this blueprint in the Python? So I'm going to define here blueprint now. So class car, and here I'm saying that this is design. You can decide whatever design you want to do. Car design in Python, whatever name you want to take. It's your choice now whether you want to design the routers. If you're a network engineer, if you want to define if you're the banker, you can define the bank class. Whatever the name you want to do, that's your choice. So class is a keyword, but after that, whatever the name you want to make, use a camel casing here to give the name of the class, and you can now define the data and method in this case. So the first thing is I'll be doing is I'll be defining one of the basic method in this case, that is info. So first I'll just try to write the function without any parameter and see what happens in this case. So let me see observe the code here. It is well indented code here. We have to be, while writing, we have to be very, very careful in this case. Car information. And this is again a document. I did not print anything. So I'm just printing here. I'm saying this is info method, whatever you want to say. Or car. Okay. Now, what we generally see is like in Python case, we don't require write much line of code. You simply write whatever you want to do. It's more like you can say need-based code. You don't require too much of I just the car class and one small method, but then do things like it is going to execute. So let us see it now. So let's say there's a car called Honda and equal to car. So this is the object I'm creating now, and I'm trying to see whether Honda, how does it work? So let me print the Honda also. So Honda is what now? Is the object of the car. See what happened. You may give the specific now. So it has executed perfectly. There's no problem for creating the object of the this car now. But now can I access this method info? Let us see it now. Anaconda.info. So the answer is you are getting certain error here. Do you know what is happening here? In this case, it's saying input X 0 position argument, but 1 was given. Whereas we are not passed any argument, but the error is showing that 1 was given. So what's happening here? In this case, Python case, what happened? The first parameter to all method is already passed now. And that's why what we do in this case, we always pass the first parameter, which is passed by the class itself. So what is that? That also we'll discuss. So I'm writing it now. And that first parameter we call self. So what is self? That also we'll discuss now. Now see the output. There is no error now. It is saying this is a info method for the car. So in the Python case, there is a function and the method. See here, this function is just like a local. It is not available to object, but method is available to object also. So here we have given some accessibility. So when you say df info of self, so you are saying that, okay, now if you want to access this is a method and the first parameter is passed by the class itself. Now with the help of object, you can access this method. The first parameter is a self, which is like a this pointer in the Java language we call Java or C++, which is like a this. Reference to the so self is a reference point. So if you want to access anything from the class, you have to have certain permissions or something like you can say, oh, you want to access my method from because it is belong to the car class now. So if you want to access something from the car using the object, you require certain thing, and that's what the first thing is like the self parameter is doing here. So it is giving the reference. Using the reference, you are able to access it now. So self is like you can say the reference to the instance of a class itself, by which now you are able to access the this method now. Similarly, here we have to understand the concept of local variable and global variable. So if you have something local variable, let me show you like this method itself. I'll just write this code one more time and show the local variable, object variable, and class variable, what it is. So let's say I have a car here and passing the name. So trying to print the name here. It could be any name I can say. Mobilio. Not double. Mobilio. Sorry, I have to pass name here. I don't know if I do write here actually print. So here I have to pass it. So now because I say in self comma name, I have to pass one parameter. That is mandatory. Now here I'm going to pass it Mobilio. And see what happens. Interesting. Now what happened? I'm able to call it. I just pass the name here, and as a local method using this function, using this info method, I'm able to call it now. But I want to ask the question here. I want to ask the question here whether this particular name is available to object or not. So can I print Honda dot name? And you will see the answer is no. Car object has name because name is local variable here. Object variable, how to do that? For that, again, you can define object variable. You can just say, let's say self.name. So how do you define object variable? By using the self as a first one, which is there. Let's say the name. Say, yourself now. So this is the way. Question comes whether the answer is no. It just first part of the methods, but it is not a keyword. Although it is used like a keyword in the Python naming convention, but it is not a keyword. So now can I access it? The answer is yes, you can. You can see the mobile is accessed now. So if I want to give the access to the object, if I want to share something, like I want to share certain variable, then that to the classes or inherited classes. Let's say I'm inheriting some car and deluxe car, all this thing, I'm putting a new object and all. Then in that case, you need to define object variable. If I do not want to share, I want to make some variable like name as a local, then don't define it. So it is not mandatory. Let me tell you, defining the object variable is not mandatory. It is only when if you want to share, define the object variable. Even in the function case, if you do not want to share the function, keep it local only. But if you want to share, you need to pass the parameter so that you can share to the object or inherited classes also. So this is the way the object-oriented programming. This is, I'm just giving you simple, very simple example about object variable here. Although it's like a very big topic to understand, but I don't think like in the 3 hours workshop, it will be easy for you to understand the complete object-oriented programming here. But I hope you understand how object-oriented programming is there now. You can also see the help of this Honda. So this is what happened internally now. You have class car now. In this case, this is your own class. But then let me tell you here, it is inheriting something that is from the object. Because in the Python case, let me tell you one thing is very interesting, that even the class is an object and it has so many other parameters. So if you look at the Honda and just look at the dir of Honda here, which is object now, you will see so many other attributes associated with it, which you did not define. Because everything is inherited from the superclass here, and that superclass is an object itself. So this was a quick understanding about the object-oriented programming. So let me guys, let know, like I hope you are getting the. I try to give something and where we use the Python, why Python. I think you must have seen like what all things you can do with the Python. How important is a Python is with application. So the last part of my particular this workshop is to tell you like what is the career in the Python now. I have given you I try to give some input as a hands-on, like what the Python is and how you can execute the Python script, what ID you can use it. I hope you got certain idea, like this is the way you can, obviously you need to explore it more in this case, like you can use a Sublime Text ID or you can use Jupyter, which is my favorite one. My favorite ID is Jupyter Notebook. Because I created so many notebooks like that. Let me do for my, like I given the training to 100+ MNCs, and all those MNCs, whenever I take a decision, I use Jupyter Notebook only. Prior to that, I was using, like prior to Jupyter Notebook, I was using the English ID as well as the PyCharm. But then there is no recording, there's no step by step. Like here, I can have one notebook, and let me tell you, in the something I can do it now. Let me share this, that I do at the Jupyter Notebook creation. I just renamed this notebook, and very interesting part. So whatever the code I written now, I just rename it, and I will say this is my hands-on, like this is Python e-workshop. And now this notebook, whatever the code I written is saved. I can export it to the PDF file also. I can download as whatever. I have one more option I included, that is a PDF, which is not available usually in other. And I can generate one complete book whenever I do the code. So I written only very few lines of code here, but then like everything is recorded. I can see it whenever I want to see it, and even the notebook is there. So one thing is I'm able to convert into PDF, or I can also present. So like that, I can show you there are several notebooks which I wrote it, and in that I'm able to even show, and I can share that notebook to everyone. So here I'm sharing everything on one of the tool. Let me show, like most of you guys already having the access to the GKTCS.in. So there you will see I already share it. So in the GKTCS.in, or you are from, if you as a learner, you get access to this all notebooks, as well as the presentation, as well as the recorded sessions. Everything will be available here itself. So you're required to visit this site. It's a secure site, and it's a learner dashboard where a lot of features are already available. So you can see if you, in the notebook case, whatever the things you type in a day, entire day, that everything will be available for you. You will not waste. It's more interactive and very, very intuitive, I can say. That way, like, okay, I have some immediate response. I don't need to write complete program and then execute it and again open it and again close it. No, I have one notebook. It is already open now for me. I just type it, I execute it. That's it. So here, if you log in as a learner, you have a choice. Like you already registered, I guess you must have filled the profile. Those who already filled, they will get the dashboard freely available. What happened in the 10 case? So as you log in here, you get access to the course, you get access to the videos, you get access to the complete practical lab like Jupyter notebook. Everything is available there now. So most of you guys must have already registered here. You can just see, like, what all courses are freely available in the course as of now. Okay, so in between, I like to see the. Okay, so someone say, like, my voice is not that clear right now. Let me check, because I think there's a lot of. Okay, am I audible now? Let me check it. Yeah, somewhere internet maybe getting a little bit fluctuation here now. Yes, even someone is making noise outside. Yeah, so there you will see, like, let me tell you, like, in the site, I already, let me see if it is open. You will get the content part also. The net is very much low right now. So I given the wrong password, I guess. So at the same time, there are many applications I'm running right now. Okay, I got a login. And I'm logging to my dashboard now. Okay, let me share the screens once again. So what is there in the dashboard? Also, I'll share it. So I'm sharing the one more time. Interesting part here. So here, once I log in, I get access to the subscribed courses, which are all like, whichever the courses you subscribe, their free subscriptions are available. You get access to those courses. Even Django courses are available, PySpark course, many courses which are available here. And I'm going to create even the Python e-workshop course, which will be available here itself. Here also you have our tools available. To if you click on the tools, you have your online quiz available. Like you can go for the quiz, like for if you click on the keys, you'll be able to, you can answer the questions here as a learner and see, like, what's your skill in the Python. We can create a new quiz for you also, and you can also submit the assignment. Like you can try a certain code, you can submit the assignment here. You can also ask the queries, or your feedback you can mention here itself. Here we have something interesting, that is a mind map tool. And you can also try to use these tools for because visualizations are very much available in this case. These mind map tools allow you to visualize everything what you very learned. So this is also available. You can save it. This we just connected here with other existing tool only. So you can create your class diagram. You can have a flow chart, whatever you want to do it. That's your choice now. Your maps are available like this, and you can create it the various designs, and you can modify it then, and you can save also wherever you want to save it. It's right now in download, so that's fine right now. I'm not. I'm just using the default one, and let me check it what is, because the behind machine there was something it is asking me the name and all. I have to just yeah. So here this here you can write whatever the you want to draw it, like let's say you define the key points, the keywords here. Let's say you are defining Python as a, and what are the things you learn in the Python? You learn the data types, the data types, you learn, let's say, data structure. What you saw in data structure, you saw mutable. And under the mutable, you saw list. You also saw the immutable. Like that, you can draw it also. These are optional. So this way, you can try to learn the subject quickly. So the best thing, whenever you try to learn, the summarize is a technique which you can do it by using the mind map also. So what we learn is about Python and the data types, the definitions of the Python, what the Python is a general purpose language, is easy language, whatever it is. What are the keywords to remember? You can put it here. The applications of Python you learn. So what are the applications you learn? Web applications. So this way you can, or the object oriented, you understood the function part, and you can save it on your machine or you can save in your cloud. This is a tool which is available along with the learner dashboard now. So this dashboard is allowing to do a lot of things. So you can access the course, you can create your notes, you can also give the test, you can check your knowledge, get the certificate also from us. So a lot of stuff can be done by using this, what you can say, the GKTCS.in itself. Okay, so I think this is a time. I just wanted to have more questions first, and then I can, if you have a question related to clear, I can just quickly tell you like what are the careers are there in the Python. You can go for the career like as a, okay, let me see whether the screen is shared or not. Again, is it shared or not? No, let me share it once again. So before we go forward, so I hope it is shared now. See what you can do as a career. You can decide. Whether you like go for the or game development or web development or testing. You have the choice available. So that's your choice. So you can do as a Python. You can be a software developer, you can be a research analyst, data analyst, and based on your jobs also, you have salaries available. Are you the Python developer? Are you the software developer or a software engineer? It's based on your experience. You get you can start your entrepreneurship as a application in the Python. And based on your expertise, your salaries are available. You can also how the salary is given in the. Even this is all about this workshop. I hope you learned something in this workshop. So let me know your question now. I'm concluding here. You can just visit the site GKTCS.in to know more about the content part. We can share you, and we'd like to help you out for all the types of content using this portal itself. So I think let's discuss about the question now. Any questions? So I'm very much thankful for all of you for joining this 3 hours workshop. I hope you learned something in this workshop. Please give me the feedback. Please give me the feedback on the portal also. There's a link available for feedback on the portal. Just register on the GKTCS.in, and also you can provide the feedback for the improvement. So any question, I'll be here to answer the question now.